New Nigeria Foundation. New Nigeria Foundation.
Touching lives, making a difference, building a country, making it good for everyone.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Idi Saidu, and I work for New Nigeria Foundation. New Nigeria Foundation is a non-profit organization incorporated in November 2000 to promote sustainable community development through public-private partnerships. In the last 21 years, NNF has engaged with public and private organizations and worked in 35 states and the FCT, promoting agriculture, good governance, economic growth, and other development projects. Its target population include men, women, youth, cities, and government. NNF is implementing 3 programs called the NNF initiatives. The Agri Initiative is one of those programs, the others being education and health. This is the second webinar for the Agri Initiative. The first was Agribusiness Opportunities and Ideas for Youth in Nigeria, which took place on the 25th of May, 2021 by African farmer Mogaji. The objectives of the NNF Agri Initiative program are, first of all, to promote youth interest and participation in agriculture and to develop the capacity of youth to set up sustainable agribusinesses. Today, we are discussing prospects, marketing, and profitability in cattle rearing, fattening, piggery, and honey production. Before we begin, permit me to call on the Managing Director of New Nigeria Foundation for his opening remarks, Professor Obafemi Ajibola. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Chikodi. And let me say a big welcome to everybody. You're welcome to this webinar. Chikodi has given us a good background, not only on New Nigeria Foundation, but also on the Agri Initiative of New Nigeria Foundation. As we all know, our country is going through very serious crisis. Economic crisis is one of the problems that we have at the moment. And we believe very strongly that if we diversify our economy, we may be in a long road to recovering from the problems that we have. One of the major areas that we can improve upon to diversify our economy is the agri sector. And we need to get the agri situation in a mode that is different from what we have at the moment. We need to mechanize, we need to get young people interested in agriculture. Unfortunately, our extension system is in shambles. So we have to find other ways of reaching young people and encouraging them into agriculture. What we are trying to do, that is NNF, is to bring on board the experience of those people who are already operating in the sector and doing very well. This, we believe, we encourage a lot of young people, and we think this medium will be a good medium because our youth are very familiar with this kind of medium, and we intend to continue to do this. We will not be able, as a country, to survive properly if we do not improve our economic situation through the improvements that we can achieve in agriculture. So I once again want to welcome everybody. I'm looking forward to a very robust session, discussions. I noticed that we have very, very experienced resource persons who have done so very well in their different sectors or sub-sectors in the agricultural area. And we are looking forward to listening to them, asking questions, and getting educated about how we can get into the sector that they have specialized in. So once again, let me welcome everybody and let me say a big thank you to our resource persons ahead of time. We are looking forward to hearing from them. Thank you once again. Over to you, Chikodi.
Thank you very much for your opening remark. And we're really looking forward to a very robust discussion. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. Please kindly mute your microphones at all times so that we can minimize interferences. Also, if you need to move around for any reason, turn off your camera because it can be a bit distracting. If you have any questions during the presentation, kindly type them in the chat box, or you could raise your hand and you'll be called. I'll bring them up at the end of the presentation during questions and answers. Now, without further ado, we turn the time over to our speakers who have expertise on the subject matter. I just want to remind our first three speakers that they each have 30 minutes for their presentations, and our last speaker has 20 minutes. Our speakers today are, the first speaker is Dr. Idi Saidu, who is a lecturer at the College of Agriculture and Animal Production in Bauchi State. And his topic is on prospects, marketing and profitability in cattle rearing and fattening. Our second speaker today is Ambassador Idi Bunmi, who is the founder of Go Green Africa Initiative. And he'll be speaking on prospects, marketing and profitability in piggery. Our third speaker today is Mrs. Folashade Ojebiyi, the CEO of Alpha Cedar Corporate Company Limited. And she'll be talking about prospects, marketing and profitability in beekeeping and honey production. Our last speaker today is Ms. Taiwo Iyiola. She's an agripreneur and CEO of Quodichan V Foods, and she'll be talking about her experience as a youth agripreneur in beekeeping and honey production. And I hand over to our first speaker, Dr. Idi Saidu, whose presentation is on prospects, marketing, and profitability in cattle rearing and fattening. Over to you, sir. While we're waiting for Dr. Saidu, I would call on the second presenter, Ambassador Idi Bunmi, founder of Go Green Africa Initiative, who will speak on prospects, marketing, and profitability in piggery.
Good morning, everyone. Please, if you can hear me, just go to the chat box. You can give me a thumb up to know that we are here this morning. Or maybe just, yes, let's do it this way. Good morning, everyone. I want to say a very big thank you to the organizer, the CEO, and everybody at the New Nigeria's Foundation. This is a great opportunity for the intending agribusiness practitioners, most especially youth and women, to learn a lot about opportunities in the livestock business in Nigeria. So this morning, without wasting our time, I want to talk about piggery. And we'll be talking about the business aspect of this now, and the target audience, I believe, are the younger generation and women, to be precise. So I have a short slide that says piggery farming, gold mine waiting to be fully utilized. In Nigeria, is one of those animals that we really don't take serious. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, pork is the most consumed protein in the world. Pork is the most consumed protein in the world. In this part of Africa, we don't really take because of a lot of sentiment around the consumption of pork. Now, when I say pork, I mean the pig, the meat is called pork. So piggery, when you talk about piggery production, you are looking at different things. An average person that want to come into this industry must understand from day one the reason they want to come into this type of livestock. Do you want to come in as a fattener? Do you want to come in as a breeder? You need to really understand why you are coming in. And when I say a fattener, is someone that wants to fatten his or her animal for consumption, purpose. As much as that, you can decide to buy winners, you can decide to buy them at grown-up stage, any stage you want, but the purpose you are rearing your animal is to fatten them to a particular size, then for sale or for slaughter. Now, if you are a breeder is someone that is actually into the development, of breeds. You can decide to say, yes, I want to stay on a premium breed. I want to stay on a particular, species or breed, and I want to populate that. For example, we have a lot of them in the piggery business. We are looking at things like recently, one of the best species is the Camboro and the rest, because I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to bring those terms and terminology down for us to understand. The converting, ratio, food to meat ratio is very high, and they grow very, very fast. We have things like landrock. We have things like, but now these species are very rugged and very strong. But presently, what we promote majorly in the business is species that are a bit disease resistant. There are some basic diseases that affect the piggery sector. And it's a business that if you want to do, you need to understand the pros and cons. You need to understand that even the biosecurity too. Your farming is not a tourist center. It's not a place where you bring people to all the time. You need to understand the biosecurity. From day one, when I say input versus output, once you know the part you want to play in the piggery business, then the next thing is for you to look at your personality. What volume of investment do you want to bring in? You need to first of all go get knowledge. Knowledge is required. I always tell people that information, knowledge, then power. That's how it works. You need to look for somebody that is doing it, around you, or you probably do an intern with somebody that is doing it very well. Now, what do you want to learn? You want to learn about feeding. You want to learn about the shelter, which most people also refer to as pen. How do you manage pen? Even from pen construction, how do you place your pen? Then how do you manage them? Then the feeding ratio, the water ratio, immunizations, or let me say, drugs and vaccines. You really need to understand all this process before you go into any of the two you want to do. Actually requires that you must have basic knowledge. Then the next thing is your capital. That determines the volume of what you can do. I always tell my student that you are free, to dream. And I say think big, always think very big, but start small. Start small so that you can understand the basics. Then you can understand everything it takes. Then you can now scale. You can now scale. So one thing you should do is start with whatever capital you have. Then from there, you can then scale. Once you understand the management of the animal, then you can begin to move forward. I just want to run the brief before we now go into the economics of the business. I told you earlier on that pork is the most consumed protein in the world, and we'll be looking at that now. Pig farming is one of the most lucrative animal rearing business in the world, and the global value of piggery is estimated around 464 billion. That is that will be around for 2027. And the Asian country has been really doing a lot, making a lot of money in this aspect of business. As of January 2020, there were about 677.6 million pigs in the world, and it's estimated to reach over 1 billion by 2027. So it's a massive, industry that you really need to look at. And let me give you something. Management is also very easy, unlike every other livestock. They are a bit rugged and easy to really manage. Most people always think that pig, we compare them to one of the to dirty things. I tell people, if you've done this before, you know that pig is one of the cleanest animal. It's one of the cleanest animal. For example, in a pen, they will never drink or eat where they put their feces. They will never. They know where to put their feces within the pen, and they know where to eat within the pen. Very meticulous, and they are very, very smart. They are very, very smart. I said unfortunately, the current Nigerian currently has just around 8 million pigs. As of today, it's not even up to that, because when we're about, coming for this program, I was just discussing with a friend. We had a lot of crisis, say 5 months ago, and Okiaro, which happens to be the biggest market for pig in Southwest, in West Africa, had a lot of issue 5 months ago. Then we lost a lot of animals there. There is no support system is also very low, especially when you want to work in a cluster. So most time I tell people, start small where you are, probably the back of your house, or you land that is line fallow somewhere. It depends on how you take care of your pen. That's how it is. And another good thing, in every of the waste from your pen can also go into your vegetable farm. The kind of recirculatory system of agriculture. With China, I told you the other time that we have around 7.6 million, pigs across the world. China alone has 406, million. Europe 151, USA 77 million, Brazil 37, Canada 14 million pigs, and Nigeria, we are not even there. Please, madam, can you show me the slide, please? Show us this, give us the slide. The next slide, please. And let us look at let's look at the graphics, okay? Now, if you look at this, you see, as you can see, I put Nigeria there, and there is nothing, the data from Nigeria is so very low. This is the world production capacity in terms of tons. In terms of tons, this is it. You are looking at China, you are looking at USA, Brazil, EU, and we are looking at Nigeria. So this is telling us that the potential is massive. It's an industry you need to look at. Let's talk locally now. We sell to the southern part of the country. They actually consume the most. They consume pork a lot, worry, and those sides. So they take a lot of this animal. They comes in with trucks, the lorries into the southern region. So say southwest, some part of southeast, and they take this animal. So as a young person, anybody that wants to invest into this, there's a ready market for this. Market is not an issue when it comes to this. Even locally, what we do, pork shop, for example, where you stay today, you can see turkey shops, chicken shops and stuff. You probably don't see pork shops easily. That doesn't mean that people don't take pork. It's the availability. It's not readily available because most people don't do it. So for you can decide to probably go into marketing, just leave the whole production thing alone, sign a very good MOU with the producing farm, and you take this animal, you slaughter them, and you sell in your pork shop. You sell in your pork shop, you make a lot of money. For example, a kg of live animal is around 800, 1,000. A kg of pork is around 1,300, 1,500. You can see the difference. Yes, when you take a live animal, 70% of it gives you the meat because you see out the blood, the water, the offers, and all those things out. But when you look at the math, it's awesome. It's awesome. What do you need? You need a nice shop, refrigerators, you can even get Sola freezers in your shop, slaughter from your farm, bring this animal in kg into the shops. You can sell Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. You will be amazed that people will come around to book ahead. It's happening here in Abeokuta where I live. Pork shops are selling out. They can't even meet the demand. They don't open 24/7. They sell twice or 3 times in a week. They sell 2-3 times in a week. And this sign down, people will say, oh, please, I'm taking 5 kg, I'm taking 3 kg. Please, my slide is now, please put on my slide, please. I'm taking 5 kg, I'm taking 10 kg. It's a big business. Please, it's a big business. And I want to encourage you that you should look at that. If you don't even want to go into the fattening at all, the possibility is massive. So next slide, please. Next slide. I just want to show us some facts and figures that really, really encourage you. I said, despite their high production, talking about China, please go back, please. Go back, please. Yes. The high production, China, USA, Europe, European Union, Germany, Japan, Poland, and the rest, the Netherlands, which they all belong into the European, over 2 million tons of metric, 2 million tons metric every year. There's still a lot of, demand that cannot be met, especially currently with the issue of Brexit. with the issue of Brexit, we were talking to some group of guys recently. We're supposed to push some pepper into UK. And one of the things they are looking at is livestock. But unfortunately, we're really not conditioned to be able to push livestock from Nigeria. We're really not conditioned to do that yet. So demand for the animal is, is everywhere, depending on how well you prepare it. How do you pack it? What part of it can you really put? Even locally, the big hotels, the big restaurants, they don't take all the parts. Some of them want, the tummy part. Some of them want the tight part. So for you that will be able to meet that market, then you should have your shop or where you can sell other parts, while you sell these other parts that the eyebrow restaurants and hotels are looking for at a very high price. And I want to tell you again that is a very, very lucrative business to do. This means that there is over $40 billion market deficit that Nigeria and Nigerians could key into. And are you ready to do that? It's easy. It's a plug and play thing, not too hard like some other livestock. I keep telling you that, and they are very handy. They really give you issues. But when they give issues, they can give faster. So you must make sure that you understand everything about the animal. I'm trying to rush because of my time. I said in Africa, West Africa to be precise, account for about $2 billion consumption value, most especially Cotonou, Togo, Ivory Coast, and the rest. They take a lot. Today, 60%, let me shock you, 60% of some of the stuff that is being consumed in some part of Nigeria also come from these countries. Yes, Cotonou brings in a lot of this animal into Nigeria. Maybe now that the border has been closed, the demand locally has risen. So it would be time for us to also key into that and see ways and where we can, also put our own into or mitigate that. No doubt, Nigeria needs to increase its production capacity. Nigeria has to increase. So that despite the high production, I think we have that the other time. Yes, we have this. Please go to the next slide. We have to increase our capacity. And like I said, it's an investment. You can start with as low as 100,000 naira. Yes, even 50,000, depending on what do you have already. It's something you can start with. It's easy to start, but you just need to get the knowledge, the basic knowledge about keeping the animal. Opportunities in pig farming. Opportunities in pig farming, pork. Now you see bacon, sausages, arms, and the ribs. Most of us, most people think they don't take pork, but they actually consume pork, a lot. So this has been with us for a long time, for a long time. I don't want to start saying if you have eaten this, you've taken pork or that. No, that's not why we are here today. Well, I'm here to just tell you that this is a very good business. It's a very, very good business. An animal of that you get for 12,000 naira. I told you the other time around 700 to 800 naira live per kg. So let's say you want to go into fattening and you want to start with just 10 animals. So why don't you get at 700 or 800? Let's even use 800 for example. Get 15 kg animal, that is around 12,000 naira per one, and get 10 of that, that is 120. This same animal in 6 months, this same animal, you'll be selling them back at, say you want to even sell live again, they will have, be up to around 35 to 40 kg each of these animals, from 15 to around 40, 45, in 6 months. That's a lot. That's a lot. And the thing is, they can take vegetables, they can do, but most time now we teach people not to give their pigs, waste. They are not waste animals. You have to also give them feed, the way you feed your chickens, the way you feed your goats, the way you feed your other livestock. You have to feed them. There are a lot of feeds for them now. They have their own, feeds that you can get for them, and you will actually see the way we rear animals these days. We rear them with a complete production where you don't have too much fat. You don't give them too much fatty food, so that you can have a very good, healthy, and lean, and very lean meat. It's used as replacement. I can't see that my screen is a bit low. See, can you please help me zoom? Is it possible? Okay. Okay. Yes. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Yes. Use as replacement valves in heart surgery in humans. I think most people will be hearing that for the first time. Yes. Fertilizer and adhesive production, production of food bowls and clothing material, production of soaps and makeups. You know, there's a video documentary that circulated sometimes last year, where different parts of pork, the fat and the rest were used for different things, cosmetics, for fillers, for your what do you call this? The facial thing, makeup. Yes, you know, they use all these things for your brush, your eyelashes brush. We use that. Okay, yes. Can you make the screen full, please? Yes, if you can make the screen full. I got that from the chat room, that if you can make it full. So it's also used in the pharmaceutical, this shows that pig farming is not limited to pork production alone, no, but it is used extensively to produce other materials as listed above. Are you with me? If you are still with me, please, your thumb up, please. Let me be sure you are still with me and you can hear me. Thumb ups, please. Thumb ups, please. Okay, Mr. Koyemi, I can see. Bunmi today, I can see. It's only two of you. Okay, Kemala Digbo or Bafemi Ajibola. Oh, great, great. Thank you very much. So let's move to international and local market for pig farming. Let's move to that. International market exportation for pork, pharmaceuticals, productions company, then locally household, hotel, restaurants. These are places, these are your potential market for those of you that might probably want to come into production. These are your potential market. And one thing I also tell my students to do at the agri school is you also have to go out there and do market research. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed that, a lot of people take the meat, they take pork, because people just say, pig, no. I remember the time when we were pushing snail, the same thing. But today, snail is like the in thing. Rabbit, I remember that time too. A lot of people are taking rabbit now. Duck meat, a lot of people are taking duck. I'm not dog now, duck. Poultry. So a lot of things are really changing. A lot alternative source of protein is now becoming the in thing in Nigeria. Alternative source of thing. And that is why for me personally, I actually want to learn from Dr. or Prof, in cattle fattening and cattle rearing. I have a couple of them, but I discover it's not really that fast and easy. So pig is something we should look at. Viable, easy. This is something, especially the younger generation, this is something you can do immediately. As a secondary school student, you are getting admission to university, you can have your own pig farm. It doesn't disturb you, nothing, no stress. And you'll be amazed at the volume of your investment by the time in 4 years. You'll be amazed. Awesome. You'll really, really be amazed. But the thing is, at the first stage, pick your niche. Fattening, breeding, you want to go into marketing purely, pick your niche from day one. Okay, please, next slide, please. Next slide. And I think this is my last slide there. Yeah. So the markets, trend, yes, you can expand it, please. Please expand. The market trend of piggery farming shows that it is very lucrative business that Nigerians can actually tap into. As seen in the previous analysis, there is a market. There's a market gap, and when there's demand and supply thing, when there's gap, as an entrepreneur, we define entrepreneur as someone that have an eagle eyes for opportunity. So this is opportunity. The gap is there. Is something that the market is looking for. All you have to do is then design the product and put out there into the market. So once again, I want to say it's easy to start. You can start with small capital, market availability, you understand, easy to maintain and manage. And it's one of those things that any day, anytime, one of the lifestyles that I will surely recommend for somebody that want to, start making good money for themselves, around 40 to 50% return over investment within a period of 6 to 7 years. So thank you very much for having me. I'm open for questions. Thank you.
Very much, Ambassador Sola Bunmi, for that wonderful presentation. We have learned that there's only 8 million pigs in Nigeria compared to other countries like China and the US with over 400 million pigs. And there are a lot of opportunities to tap into in Nigeria because there's still a deficit. We're still waiting for Dr. Idi Saidu. He's having internet challenges from Benue, from Bauchi State. As soon as we're able to reach him, as soon as he logs on, we'll call on him. So at this time, I'm going to call on Mrs. Folashade Ojebiyi, who will be talking on prospects, marketing, profitability in beekeeping and honey production. Thank you. Let me just remind participants that you can type your questions in the chat box and we'll take them at the end of the presentations.
Good morning, everybody. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, this is better. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. We can hear you. This is much better. So you can proceed, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm Folashade Ojebiyi, a professional beekeeper. So I've been in this business for quite a while now. I thank God for the Nigerian Foundation. They just discovered me and brought me a wonderful young lady that has now turned into my daughter. Even people seeing us together, they feel that she's my daughter and accept that, yes, this is my daughter. In fact, the journey has been so glorious. I appreciate every member of New Nigerian Foundation for giving me the privilege. Even this meeting, I'm supposed to go my way to Akure, but I said, no, I prefer to stay for this meeting than going to Akure. So for those that are, for the youth, I'll tell you that beekeeping is a very, very lucrative and profitable business to venture into. A lot of people know about honey, but beekeeping is more than honey. And if we're able to venture into it, then we'll be able to understand better. What is beekeeping? Beekeeping is the art of rearing bees. The art of rearing bees for honey production and also other things that we can get from the bees. Beekeeping can be a hobby, it can be a sideline operation, or a full-time vocation. In fact, I started beekeeping as a hobby. I started with just about 3 hives, and today I have hundreds of hives in my farm. And apart from that, it has given me wide publicity that I can't think of any other vocation that would have given that to me. Now, what do beekeepers do? Beekeepers are involved in every aspect of rearing and propagating bees. They ensure that the hives are in good order, they are healthy and productive, and so the duty of a beekeeper, it doesn't take time. That's one of the advantages of beekeeping. Beekeeping is not time consuming. It doesn't take your time. You do it at your leisure. You do it at your leisure. Visiting the hive doesn't take, maybe you can do it once in a week if you have a chance, every 2 weeks, or maybe once in a month. So it doesn't take your time. And apart from every other agricultural vocation, bees they fend for themselves. You don't need to feed them. You don't need to get something for them to eat. They feed for themselves. All you need to do is get a very good vegetation. Place your hive there, and before you know it, they keep taking care of themselves until the time for harvesting is done. Next slide, please. The question now is beekeeping profitable? Yes, beekeeping is a very, very profitable vocation. Apart from the honey that is well known by every one of us, wherever you go to is honey that people relate to bees. But there are other byproducts of bee products that are more lucrative than that of honey. Now, let's look at the products that you can get from bees. The first one is honey that is well known by every one of us. Today, a liter of honey goes from 4,000 and above. It depends on how you package it, how you are able to market it. And once your customers know that you are a beekeeper, they know and they are certain that they are getting genuine honey from you. And that is an edge over those that are just selling. So you'll be able to tell them about your product. You'll be able to convince them that what you are giving them is genuine. And also when you show them photographs of yourself, videos of yourself in the farm, how you are tendering the bees, they take, they are well keyed into it, and before you know it, your market keeps expanding day in, day out. Now, the next product is pollen. It's also called bee bread. Pollens are the pollens. It's part of the food of the bees. You know, bees have 3 types of food. They have water, pollen, and nectar. The pollen is the powdery substance they get from flowers or plants. Yeah, let's take a look at the corn. I don't know what, the flower on top of the corn. That by the time they are pollinating it, they get out of the pollen there and deposit in the honeycomb as their food. And in the process, they mix it with the other secretions and store it. They store it as their own food. But the bee pollen too is also a kind of health supplement for humans. And just a little amount, as 30 grams, costs between $3 to $5 in the international market. So the pollen there is very, 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 very important, though you get it in little quantity. But if one wants to decide to be getting it, we have gadgets that can aid you to get it in large quantity. Next slide, please. Then from there, we move on to the propolis. The propolis. The propolis is a kind of secretion with which the bees seal their hives against invaders, against water, against anything that wants to get into the hive. And these propolis are a kind of antibiotic. It is used in medicine. A gram of, 30 grams of propolis also goes for between $6 to $8 in the international market. So you just getting it. And one thing with all these things is that it doesn't affect the production process of the bees. So one leads to the other. The propolis, you get that one in large quantity during the rainy season. At this time, they tend to seal their hives from water, from cold, and from other things that may want to penetrate into it. So we are able to harvest it at that time. Now, when you harvest it, you store it, and when the need gets, when you need to sell it, you sell it. Selling it is not even difficult. You just advertise online. Before you know it, you even have more buyers than you can cope with. So we also have royal jelly. Royal jelly is like the bee's milk. It's white. It's very rich in protein. Then it is used in feeding the queen. Out of all the participants in the hive, we have just 3 participants. We have the queen, the drone, and the workers. The queen lives the longest. She can live from between 3 to 5 years, while the others, maybe a month or 3 months, they are gone. But the queen lives for as long as 3 to 5 years. That is if she's well taken care of. And what she feeds on is the royal jelly. Royal jelly is very, very lucrative also. And you get it, you can extract it. They have tools with which you can extract royal jelly. Raw royal jelly costs so much than honey itself. Now, royal jelly is used to treat fertility. It's also used in cosmetics. It's used for longevity creams and food. So you can see that apart from honey, there are also other products that are very, very lucrative in the bees family. So let's move on. The next slide. We also have the beeswax. The beeswax is gotten from the honeycomb. The honeycomb is where the bees themselves build this honeycomb. They store their food, they store honey, and they lay their eggs inside this honeycomb. Now, when the honey has been harvested, when it's matured, when it has ripened, and you harvest it, you extract the honey from the honeycomb. Instead of throwing the honeycomb away, you process it into beeswax. I remember when I started beekeeping, initially I was throwing the beeswax away. So at a point in time, I now sat down and talked to myself, I said, this thing must be useful somewhere. So I met someone, the person taught me how to process it. I processed it. You can imagine, I kept it for years. So at a point in time, I now started making research. After sometimes I got to know that we can use it for candles and so many things. That was how I started making candles, scented candles. Then I used to go to exhibitions and trade fair. In fact, I sold so much then. But now I sell my beeswax and I use it in bathing other hives also. So 1 kg of beeswax goes for 5,000 naira and above, depending on how clean it is. This is an area that one can venture into also. Now we also have bee venom. Bee venom is gotten from the sting of the bee. We have what they call epitherapy. This is using bee sting in treating people. Today, the use of bee sting is now getting more and more popular. A lot of people are demanding for it. And one funny thing is that the sting of the bee is a kind of immunization to the beekeeper. Because when a bee stings you, it immunizes you throughout that year, you won't get sick. So research has gone so far that they can treat cancer, arthritis, and so many diseases with bee sting. It's just for you to know how to do it and do it very well. A lot of people are clamoring for bee sting therapy nowadays. Next slide, please. Then we also have pollination service. This is a situation where a beekeeper takes it to an existing farm, and the bees help in the pollination of the crops there. Crops that are pollinated by the bees are richer, sweeter, more nutritious than any other crop. If you look at the watermelon, look at it very well, you see a kind of patch beside. A watermelon that's bee pollinated, you find that it's creamy, yellowish in color. If you take that watermelon, you eat it, you will discover that it's richer and sweeter than the normal one that's just white, that was not pollinated by bee. So pollination services too is being made popular nowadays. A lot of people are into vegetable farming, fruit farming, and they are now inviting beekeepers. They even encourage beekeepers to place their hives in their farm. And it's a 50-50 benefit. The farmer gets the pollination of the bees, the plant, while the beekeeper is being kept and in a safe custody. So pollination services is another area that one can venture into. Then another area is beekeeping equipment. You see, initially when modern beekeeping started, the equipment were being imported from abroad. But today, we have people that are skilled. Even I myself, I make my hives myself. When Taiwo came into the picture, I introduced her to it, and together we are doing it today. So there are also other beekeeping tools and equipment that youths can venture into. We have a lot of skilled youths. We have the hive knife, the bee brushes, the bee smokers, and some other things. It's just a matter of being creative and innovative. If you go online, you will see so many things. Venture into it, and before you know it, Get a shop. You don't even need to get a shop. Place your things online through the social medias, and before you know it, beekeepers will be on your neck demanding for such things. Next slide, please. We also have beekeeping education and advisory services. You can train people, and that is when you yourself, you are knowledgeable about it, you are experienced. That is why the first step in beekeeping is undergoing a training. Then establish your farm. After establishing, you learn along the line. Beekeeping is a daily learning vocation. You learn one new thing every day. So through your experience, through your knowledge, you'll be able to impart knowledge into others. You'll be able to help others manage their farm. You'll be able to help others. You'll be able to do consultancy services to others. So that is another area that one can venture. Then bee remover. That is, you have a lot of people complaining that bees invaded their home. They don't know how to go about it. You charge them a token and you go help them to remove the bees. And you removing the bees is an advantage to you. They'll pay you for removing the bees. You also add the bees as a nucleus, as a new colony for yourself. All you just have to do is get a hive, put the bees inside the hive. As long as the queen is there, the bees remains there. Next slide, please. Then how much can you make from beekeeping? In fact, like I've been saying, beekeeping is very, very lucrative. Before you know it, they start building combs there, and then by the time you begin to experiment with so many things. I am where I am today because beekeeping is a very challenging vocation. Thank God the herdsmen issue is being curbed daily, and we pray that in the next few years to come, such stories will be a thing of the past. I've really suffered from their ends. They go destroy the hive, cut away with your honey and the likes. So in the process of it, I've learned so many things because I discovered that the passion I have for bees is not just money. And in the process of it, I was able to experiment so many things and come out with so many results, and which has made me to have an edge over others. During those trying periods, I didn't give up. I continued, and not just continued, but kept on researching and researching until I got better ways of doing things. So you can also diversify and use a combination of different bee products. Like I told you, during that time, I learned how to make, to process the beeswax. I learned how to make products from beeswax. I make natural creams today, all to be the challenges I had then. When I processed the bees, the wax, I said, okay, what else can I do with this thing? I started making shea butter cream with the beeswax as a part of the ingredients in the shea butter cream. Until today, though I didn't focus majorly on it, I'm still making money from it. I'm still making money from it. So you can diversify, use so many things. There's no area that is a waste in beekeeping. Next slide, please. What can we get from one hive? What is the potential profit per hive? And an hive, a hive will give you between 10 to 15 liters. That is 10 to 15 liters of honey. That is if all condition is okay. That is, you have good vegetation, they have flora where they can forage on, and nobody is disturbing them and the likes. So you can get between 10 to 15 liters, and this is not just once. You can harvest twice from that hive. So at the end of the year, you can be getting between 20 to 30 liters of honey in a year from an hive. So now with that, and natural honey, especially our local honey. I'm not talking about the refined imported honey that has passed through a lot of pasteurization, filtering, and the likes, and it's just the sweet honey that they are bringing. Our honey is raw, it is natural. It is in high demand. I have people that comes from abroad to buy my honey. They prefer it than what they are having there because it's natural, it's raw. So people are looking for raw honey. They are looking for raw honey. I remember when I was getting my machines ready, getting ready for NAFDAC certification, one of my mentors now introduced me to a kind of machine. I said, no, I don't want it. That has a pasteurizer. I said, no, I don't want it. I want my honey raw. I want it raw because a raw honey has a lot of nutrition in them, a lot of microorganisms that is very good for the body. So raw honey is the order of the day. Let's stand on what we have. Our honey in Nigeria is one of the best in the world. So selling your honey, having between 10 to 15 liters or 20 to 30 liters, like I said the other time, it depends on your location and how viable that location is, how rich that location is. That will determine what you get. So if you discover you find yourself in a location that is not all that, the vegetation is somehow, you have to improvise by planting crops or trees or fruits that will aid in feeding the bees. So that is another source of income for you. By the time the fruits start producing, you sell fruit and you get money from the fruits, you get your bees being fed up. So you can also increase the income per hive by selling other bee hive products. Like I said the other time, like royal jelly, bee wax, and the likes. So you work on your profits, your profits now, after deducting all the necessary costs, overhead, and the likes, the remaining is your, and honey doesn't need much overhead. Doesn't need much overhead. All you need is a very good packaging material. The packaging sells also. It sells. It helps you. Marketing your honey is not difficult. Even from your locality, you can market it. And it depends on how you want to go about it. You can leave it in the comb as honey in the comb. You can filter, extract it from the honeycomb, package it with beautiful packaging, and before you know it, your product is everywhere. Next slide. So what is the startup cost for your hive? I always advise people to start small. I advise them to start small because you learn along the way. When you start small, you learn with those little that you have. Then before you know it, you begin to expand, you begin to expand. And before you know it, you are all over the place. So the initial cost is very, very small, depending on how you want to start. All you need to get is the equipment, the beehive, the protective gadget, your bee smoker, even the processing materials. If you don't have money for it, don't worry about it. There are other ways of processing. You can process it in a neat way. Use your sieve and fine muslin cloth, sieve it out, package it very well. You are good to go. So you don't need to start looking for millions to say you want to start beekeeping. You can start with 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10. But for you to be, more profitable, it's better you start with 5 to 10 hives. Next slide, please. So the startup costs. The cost of beekeeping for the first year with 10 hives is between 250,000 to 800,000. And this includes a complete hive, that is a hive and its stand. It's 15,000 naira. The package fee, I forgot to talk about the package fee. You can also sell package fees. That is a colonized set of bees. You have the queen there, you have the worker there, you have the drone there. You can start, there's a way you go about it. And by the time you have mastered the art, you can start selling it. So you can buy package bees instead of waiting for the hives to colonize naturally. You can buy package bees, and that one goes for 5,000 naira. Your protective gear, the bee suit goes for 10,000 naira. The basic tools and every other things that you need around, let's say about 50,000, then miscellaneous and the likes, then the processing and packaging materials. Like I said the other time, you don't you don't need to have millions of naira or hundreds of thousands before you start packaging. You can start packaging from your kitchen. You can start packaging from your room. Just make sure it is all done in a clean environment, very clean environment. Get your bottles, your beautiful bottles, package it. Start telling people, I'm a beekeeper. I sell honey. Even them seeing you going to the farm in your suit and everything, they know that you're a beekeeper. They will start demanding for your honey even before it's out. So at the end of the day, you discover that beekeeping is a very lucrative business. It's a very, very lucrative business. Though at times it can be challenging. It's 50-50. 50% chance that this year I'll make a success, and 50% chance that I may not have anything this year. And coupled with this climate weather that we have to start studying, studying things again in order to follow the new calendar, because beekeeping has its own calendar. We have 4 seasons in a year in beekeeping. It's the honey flow season, the build-up season, the floral season, and the scarcity season. So all these seasons has their own time, and everything has changed now due to the climate change. So we're not trying to go along with the climate and work out things in this right way. Like last year now, when we were supposed to harvest, we discovered that it was too early. And when we now went to harvest, the next thing you discovered that the bees, they started eating the honey again. So now we have to start researching and begin to follow them according to their space. So, like I said, beekeeping is lucrative, but you need to learn. Keep on learning, keep on researching, and your hands must be on deck, ready to do new things, ready to discover new things, ready to be creative and to be innovative in your packaging, in your processing, even in the equipment we use. So they teach us, the bees teach us to be up and doing. The next slide, I think is the last one. Next slide, please. You have 2 minutes. So start slowly, learn the craft of beekeeping, keep an open mind on how to make money as a beekeeper. Exploit all profitable beekeeping opportunities that comes your way. A diversified approach is the key to being successful when beekeeping for a profit. And bear in mind, 50-50 chance that you will start making money in the first year. And all this depends on all factors: the vegetation, your ability to manage it properly, and your continuous research and learning will bring you profitability in beekeeping. Thank you very much. Done.
Thank you very, very much for that very rich and informative presentation. Very robust discussion. We really appreciate it. We learned a lot. We learned that beekeeping is very profitable. You can either do it as a hobby or as a business. And there are different products from bees, apart from just honey. They're used for medicinal purposes. So there are lots of opportunities in beekeeping production. And I hope we got all of that. So with great pleasure, I would like to introduce our next speaker, our next presenter, Ms. Taiwo. She's a real, true life success story. We're very proud of her. She's someone who has done it, and I hope that her success story will inspire many of the youth here today. So I'd like to introduce Ms. Taiwo Iyiola, agripreneur and CEO of Podician V Foods, and she'll be sharing her experience as a youth agripreneur in beekeeping and honey production. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ma. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, New Nigeria Foundation, for this opportunity. And of course, my story cannot be complete without mentioning New Nigeria Foundation, without mentioning Ambassador Sola Bunmi, without mentioning Mrs. Folashade Ojebiyi. So I say thank you very much once again. So everybody has a story to share, and I'm glad that today I'll be sharing some of my stories in beekeeping and honey production. I hope I'm still clear, please.
Yes, you are.
All right, yes. Thank you very much. All right, so lots of questions that I receive is why beekeeping, why not something else? Well, apart from the fact that I have my background in forestry, I studied forestry, and which opened my eyes to a lot of opportunities in forestry, of which beekeeping is one of them. I also say that I have two basic reasons why I ventured into beekeeping, and I call one the selfish reason, and I say the other one is for other reasons. Okay, so so for the selfish reason why I started ventured into beekeeping, I'll say personally I do not. So I'll say personally I don't do what I do things that are very uncommon, especially with my gender. So I don't often do that thing which you see everybody do. You understand? So that's one of the selfish reasons. So because I wanted a platform where I can, in quotes now, I can shine. So, so that's one of the reasons why I ventured into beekeeping. Then, of course, the other reason is because I saw the demand and the market gap in beekeeping, and I decided to venture into it. And so far, I don't have regrets of venturing into beekeeping. So how it all started, I mentioned that I had the background in forestry, and during my IT, my industrial training 400 level, I was posted to Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria, Ibadan. That was the first time where I got to, I saw a BI for the first time. That was where I saw live bee for the first time. Oftentimes people think it was a passed on, a passed on job or vocation. They thought my dad was a beekeeper, and I ventured into it. So, but the real fact is, from Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria, Ibadan, that was where I got the first experience of beekeeping. And after that, during our final year project, I had a classmate who also did his project on bees, and it came by with fantastic results. So, we did it together. I was very interested in it, and it also further gingered the interest in beekeeping. So after then, I was able to, I got a fund from my final year project, Professor Akindele, who, he gave me a sum of 100,000 then to, for my final year project, because it came out very fantastic. So out of the money, I used 50,000 naira to start the beekeeping business. So with 50,000 naira, I was able to go into multi-suite training. Multi-suite training is a Chinese beekeeping company, and they came to do a training then in Akure, Ondo State, and that was where I did my first official training in beekeeping. And from there on, I got a fund I applied for various grants, and I was the winner of Farmer Future Award. Nigeria Foundation was the implementing partner, and that was what really, that was how I really started out, because I was able to get funding to get a lot of stuff in place, and that boosted my my chances of really going to the beekeeping. Then after then, I've been mentored by Mrs. Folashade Ojebiyi since then, coupled with the various experiences that I've had, personal experiences. They say experience is the best teacher. So I've gotten a lot of experiences from, from being a beekeeper, personal experiences, and mentorship by Ms. Folashade Ojebiyi. Then I didn't stop there. I've gone through trainings, various trainings in business, business-oriented trainings, and also in beekeeping. So next slide, please. All right, so I'll talk about marketing of my products. Yes, like Mrs. Folashade Ojebiyi has mentioned, apart from packaging, apart from pure honey, we also have other bee products that I'm also into. Pure honey, bee wax, propolis, royal jelly, and so far so good. So far so good. I've used word of mouth have been a very good platform where I've gotten audience and customers. So when you have a good product, you can a good product like selling 100% pure honey, unadulterated. You have reasons where somebody will tell somebody, another person will tell somebody about your products, and before you know it, you are getting referrals. And social media pages has also helped me. Then I have a website where when people search online and they search for pure honey, probably in Nigeria or in Abeokuta, you'll be one of among the person that comes up. So I've maximized the platform also to get markets and get customers for my products. Then physical marketing, yes, I've been able to, I've writing, submitting proposals to supermarkets, to stores, to companies that need honey in large quantity, and also sharing of flyers for people to, for people. And so excuse me. Okay. So, and I've attended trade fairs where I display my products, and from there you'll be able to get people who buy not only in retail but also buy in bulk, in wholesales. So, and many more. I've used various platforms for marketing my products. So far, so good. Beekeeping has given me recognition. By recognition, I mean from people that ordinarily you wouldn't have met, And I've received recognition from even both the local and the international personnel. And I've gotten fundings in grants and in assets. So I think this will be my third. I'm presently on my third grant award for beekeeping, and all have been all for just beekeeping. And I would like to mention that there are many grants out there that are, they are looking for specifically for beekeepers, specifically for agric businesses. And in fact, a lot of them, majority of them are into people that they are, they want to fund agric businesses. So I've been able to receive 3, which are in, they are in millions, let me put it that way. So, and I've been able to have reliable network in agriculture and also in beekeeping, beekeeping platforms. And before now, I used to be very shy. So, but being in beekeeping has opened it up to to many openness, being more outspoken. My negotiation skills have improved. Of course, you meet with top people that you have to negotiate with. You meet with people that they're ready to uptake, and they come with their own bargain, and you too have to bring down your own bargain skills also. Then customer service has really improved my customer service skills and also leadership skills. So of course I had gotten experience and exposed to different various agricultural sectors, because before now I only know of beekeeping as my major agricultural focus, but being in the business has taught me a lot about other agricultural platforms as well. So beekeeping has really done so much for me that I can't even mention on this slide. So next slide. So when we have, someone who wants to ask, as if they own Rosie, yes, I will say no, because if I tell you yes, that means I'll be lying. So like, some of the challenges mentioned by Ms. Folashade Ojebiyi, apart from we've not really had experience of the Fulani herdsmen, but some of the challenges we face as regards our products, I'll mention three basic ones. And first, I will say the buyer's pro knowledge about honey. So a lot of us some of our buyers, they have a retentive, idea of how pure honey should look like, or what pure honey is and what it is not, and of which majority of these are wrong. You understand? For instance, please the next slide. So for instance, people will tell you that pure honey, ants will not come near pure honey, which is all lies. By nature, you know that ants have a likeness for anything sweet. So definitely ants will definitely ants will go near honey. Do you understand? So definitely we're going to have them around. Just that they might not want to go inside because they know that it is sticky, but they will definitely go around it. You have to try to convince, ants will definitely go near pure honey. And it's not a way of knowing pure honey, but we have people say, oh, no, because of this, why we are marketing and all of that to retain customers as regards that it was challenging. But like I said, that every challenge, there is always a solution to every challenge. So now another thing, I would like you to check the slide where you saw a picture of the golden honey. That was one of my very first honey that I harvested, like the very, very first honey that I harvested. It was as golden as that. So, but a lot of people believe that, oh, honey must be very dark, and it has to be very thick and all of that, but pure honey, you can't know pure honey by viscosity, you can't know it by the color. That honey was, it was later on I got to know that the pharmaceutical companies, they were looking for this particular honey that a lot of people rejected. That's the one on the slide, the golden one. So pure honey is not about the color, it's not about the, about the viscosity. Then again, another thing I experienced was crystallization. There was a time I harvested honey and it was crystallizing. By crystallizing, it was solidifying, and it was looking like as if, how will I put it now? Crystals were inside. So people would think maybe, oh, you added sugar or something, of which there was nothing like that. So those were some of the challenges I faced. Why, in regards to how honey should look like. And one thing I did was I had to change my packaging. And I had to put some facts about honey. So if you're getting the honey and you check, the label, you're able to read up some of it, and it has really, really helped me. So it has really, really helped me, and I use the social media as a form of information to pass on to to people around. So second challenge I faced was team building. The team building was so challenging because not everybody understands the process of you running a business. They want to see the money immediately. They want to see the money immediately, and in the real sense, the money might not come, like what Mrs. Ojebiyi said. It might not come in the first year. So it might not come in the first year. It might come in the subsequent years, maybe the following year, and it's 50% chance in the very first year. But the team I started with, they wanted to see the money in the first year, and especially when they hear that you are getting grants and all of that, they will think, oh, double our salary or triple our salary, but they don't know that it doesn't result to that. So team building was a bit challenging, but I was able to resolve by, I wanted more corporate team members. Like when I mean graduates and all of that, but I resolved to maybe school leavers, and it has really helped because they are eager to learn, unlike my colleagues who are graduates and really all they want is, let's go for the money immediately. So I was able to resolve through that, and it has also helped me in regarding the team building. And before, I used to seek for volunteers, volunteers to do my social media, volunteers to do a lot of things, but I resolved to paying them if I can, and if salary negotiation instead of just seeking for their voluntary skills. Then third, climate change. Climate change is alarming and it is real. And we beekeepers, we faced a lot of it when it comes to climate change. I'm also experiencing the same thing, but together with my mentor, we are, checking on how to resolve a lot of issues as regards climate change in beekeeping. And we are looking for a solution that will be beneficial to not only us, to also be beneficial to other beekeepers. So I think I've come to the end of my slide. Thank you very much for this opportunity once again, and thanks for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Taiwo, for your very inspiring presentation. It's really good to hear your story, and we wish you all the best. Well done. I'm glad that...
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. I'm glad that we're able to finally have Dr. Idi Saidu from Bauchi State. I know we are aware that you were having a lot of challenges with the internet. So we welcome you, and Dr. Idi Saidu will be talking on prospects, marketing, and profitability in cattle rearing and fattening. Thank you.
The livestock industry in Nigeria represents a very good, important national resource. It contributes substantially to national wealth and also supplies the populace with the important animal protein which are required for healthy living. Of course, each and every one of us required protein because of its, importance for growth and development, for the replacement of the worn-out tissues, for immune defense, for enzymes, because partly enzymes, they are protein in nature. In addition, it provides raw materials for the related agro-based industry and plays a significant role in promoting crop production through the use of animal traction and manure for soil fertility. So not only the provision of animal protein, but it also supply the livestock sector, supply raw materials to the related agro-based industry, like the leather industries. It supplies them with the hide and then the skin. Then the sector is the second largest employer of labor, next only to crop enterprise, contributing about 23.3%. So the cattle rearing and fattening enterprise, being a major component of livestock, play a vital role in the economy of the nation. So a nation without livestock is a poor nation. That is, a country without livestock is a poor country. While a country with livestock, that country is elite country. If you look at the country with the highest population of cattle in the world, like India, Brazil, USA, if you look at their China, their GDP, they are having the highest GDP in the world. The United States of America is having $90.93 trillion as their GDP. Because of what? They have livestock. They are into livestock farming, a lot of it. So the USDA reported the world cattle inventory at 1,907,000 head in 2021, with the following country leading the world in cattle population. We have India. India is leading the world in terms of cattle population in the world, with 305.5 million, while Brazil is following India with 244.1 million cattle, while the USA is next to Brazil with 93.7 million, then followed by China with 91.6. Then you're in to African continent. Ethiopia is leading African country in terms of population of cattle with 60.3 million, Tanzania is at 3.9 million, then Nigeria with 20.7 million, then Kenya, 80 million. Next slide. Then in a study published in 2019, between 2012 and 2015, the cattle population in Nigeria is forecasted to increase significantly from 20.7 million to 53.7 million, because this is as a result of what? Increase in population. As long as there is increase of population, of course, as long as there is demand for cattle. So also about the animal activity. So the consent profits within a specific period of 90 days. So in a cattle fattening business, you don't allow the animal to move from here to there. No, you confine them in an area and provide them with all their needs. Because what we are after is for the animal, for the cattle, food in wet. Because at the end of the day, you are after profit. Because if they didn't put wet, of course, it will affect your profit. And then, is there any prospect of cattle rearing and fattening in Nigeria? Of course, there is serious profit. The prospect is that the agriculture is the only section of the economy that will never go extinct. As long as people are existing, as long as there is people in this world, agriculture will never die, because it is obvious, because no matter the economic situation, at any time, present or future, people must eat and drink. So as long as people eat and drink, of course, agriculture will never go extinct. But there are some business, obviously, with time, with events, they will one day will never find them. But agriculture has been in existence for over 15,000 years, because people have to eat, people have to drink. So as long as there is that, agriculture will never go. So because of that, there is a lot of prospect in cattle rearing and fattening. I believe each and every one of you want to eat meat every day. Of course, it's part of the requirement. I've said it. So as the country population is increasing at alarming rate, also the demand for people. So since the population is as such that there's a lot of other products, the milk that we drink every day. Then we have also the hides, the bones are used, produced for bone meal that we use for formulated ration for our poultry. And then even the rumen content is normally being utilized to feed other animals. So there is a lot of demand for it because there's a lot of increase on population. As long as there is increase of population, obviously cattle rearing will continue to exist. Is there any market for? Of course, there is a lot of market, because there is the market for cattle and meat is very huge and it's rapidly increasing because of increase in population. As long as there is increase in population, of course, there is going to be demand, a huge demand in beef and cattle, the live ones as well as the meat, because every household consumes products from livestock farming, be it meat every day. Every household under normal circumstances, even though because of the problem, most of our people are living below poverty datum line. They cannot be able to afford to buy animal protein on a daily basis. So because of that, some households could not be able to buy animal products on a daily basis. But obviously, we are in need of this very important nutrient. Then the annual global demand of beef is around 58 million tons. So because of that, because of the increase in population, globally meat consumption increased by 58% between 1998 and 2018. So just in 20 years, there's an increase by about 58% of meat and globally. So because of what? Because as a result of increase in population, as long as there is going to be an increase of population, the demand for meat is going to equally increase. So the market is there. Is the only thing you need to know how to maneuver and get the market, okay? Then, despite 20.7 million cattle population, Nigeria spent a golfing 1.5 billion annually, equivalent to 570 billion yearly importing dairy products. This, imagine, that is according to CBN 2019. So it's this thing is a cancer to our own economy, because if you are only importing and you are not exporting, of course it will affect our GDP, despite the fact that in Africa our GDP is the highest with about $515 billion. But yet, if you look at the situation internally in the country, there are some challenges. There are no social progress in the country in terms of education, in terms of that is the quality of education, in terms of food security, in terms of affordable housing. But we are spending a lot in importing rather than exporting. So this is affecting our economy seriously. Then the government campaign on promoting indigenous farming. So there is an advantage now. Government is campaigning, encouraging our youth to go into agriculture, promoting the indigenous farm, supporting them with different intervention. So because of that, also there is a lot of progress in that also. With the growing population of 212,501,302 million in 2021 of Nigeria, and with production is also to grow in this market so as to meet the demand of livestock, food and products. By 2050, Nigerian population is expected to increase significantly. So the market for beef is there. As if you produce your product, could it be cattle or the beef? You have individuals who come and buy from you. Yes, individuals, they do come and buy from you. It's also a market. Then organization, if you know that you are rearing cattle or you are supplying beef, they will also come to you. Then equally, you can sell your cattle, live one, or the beef to what? To butchers or the restaurants. You can equally that. Then you can equally sell your product, that is the cattle or the beef, during one of these festivities, that is during Salah or Christmas period, whereby there is a lot of market during that period. So you can equally sell your products. There is a lot of market because on a daily basis, people want to eat meat, but because of the financial problem, that is why they cannot be able to buy on a daily basis. So we are going to look at profitability aspect of cattle rearing and fattening. Of course, we have mentioned that it's a business that is booming. Cattle rearing and fattening is very profitable when it is done the right way. You have to do it the right way before you can be able to get the profit. And then the profit depends on the buying price of the cattle, the cost of the feed and other expenses, as well as the unit cost per kilogram when selling. So at what cost did you buy your animal? Then what is the cost of feeding the animal? All this one is the one that will determine your profit. If you happen to buy it at a very cheaper price, then at the end of the day, you are going to make a lot of profit. Then the season of the year also do affect the price because the feed constitutes about 70% total cost of production. So if the cost of feed is low, then you are going to make a lot of profit from selling your cattle or your beef. But if it is high, then it is going to affect your profit. Then for an entrepreneur to ensure a profitable income from fattening, there are golden rules that are to be considered. There are golden rules. If you want to be successful as an entrepreneur, there are some things that it is expected to take into consideration. If you want to go into cattle rearing or beef production, then do not buy sick animals for fattening. Of course, you all know that it's not expected to buy animal that is sick because it will at the end of the day buy, even though some people do buy a sick animal, then treat them, fatten them and sell, but give. Then we have the maize brand, another option. Okay, we have the maize brand, we have molasses, we have hay, then we have the salary which is given at liberty, that is always must be available. In addition to the other options, that we have selling cattle fattening feeds, like the animal care. They are selling already formulated feed that is used for cattle rearing or for fattening. So you can directly go there and buy, being without wasting time to compound your own or to serve there's already compounded one. Then these are balanced feed which are designed for fattening in feedlots. They are balanced feed which are designed for fattening in feedlots. The feed are high in energy fattening units, which contain all the nutrients. So the feed contains all the nutrients, okay, that are needed by the animal. That is the protein, the carbohydrate, I've said it, the fats and oil, the vitamin and minerals, because it is affected. Each animal has its own specific nutrient requirement. If you fail to give it its own nutrient requirement, it's going to affect the productivity of the animal. Then let us look at part of the profitability of cattle fattening or cattle rearing, just as an enterprise. You have, supposing you purchase a cattle at the cost of 200,000 naira. Then you spend 58,000 naira for feed, then 5,000 naira for vaccine, then the casual labor, 8,400, then you have salt for 200 naira. You have a total of 277 naira. So we are going to look whether if it is profitable or not. Then that is for the variable cost. Then you have the fixed cost. Supposing you have spent 8,440 naira for the fixed cost. So if you add it to 277, you have your total cost of 286,140 naira. So now, supposing to say the cattle was sold at the cost of 487,000 naira 500, and then you have the manure that is now been, of course, you have to sell it also at the cost of 7,000 naira. Then at the end you have 494,000 naira 500. So if you subtract 286 naira from 140, at the end of the month, the farmer, the entrepreneur, has a net profit of 208,360 naira. So actually, like I said right from the word go, cattle fattening and rearing is a very profitable business if you do it the right way. The only problem, if you don't know how to do it the right way, they are going to encounter problems. Yes. Then part of the conclusion or recommendation. Yes. Second to the last slide. The conclusion or recommendation from the foregoing, we have understand the highlight of this presentation to be in Nigeria today, cattle fattening business is necessary to actually cope with this unemployment and poverty. Of course, if you want to prevent the issue we are having in the country now, we have to encourage the youth to go into agriculture, more especially cattle farming. So that is why even the Nigerian board for technical education, as part of a new curriculum, they introduced entrepreneur as a course to encourage our youth to go into business before even graduating. Then cattle farming is a very profitable business, and many people are making money all over the world. I have said it right from the word go, because of the increase in population. As long as there are people existing in this world, people will continue to eat meat. So if people eat meat, that's definitely the business has a prospect, has a future. It will never die. It will go on existing as long as this world is existing. So it has a very bright future. So if our youth want to make money, please, they should go into agriculture, more especially cattle fattening and rearing. A lot of youth have made money on that. To develop a cattle farming business in Nigeria, which in turn create an environment that promotes the growth and development of our economy. The following shall be adopted. One, promotion of suitable technology. Of course, there is need to change from our traditional way of cattle rearing and farming. Of course, this is an old way. We have to employ the modern way of modern technologies. Some countries are very far in terms of cattle production. Still, we are using the traditional way, the way our nomadic herdsmen are doing their rearing, you see? So we have to employ new technologies that improve on production, and then we have to develop a structure that strengthens the value chain. One of the challenges in Nigeria, may produce your good, but at the end of the day, to sell it is going to be a problem. It's one of the challenges. So the value chain, we have to strengthen. The government has to come in, the federal government, the well-to-do individual, they have to come in to see how this system will be strengthened in order to encourage our teaming youth that are unemployed in the country. Then the educational system also needs to be overhauled. Of course, there is need in Nigeria to overhaul the educational system. The curriculum we are using in our institution, some of them are actually obsolete curriculum. So there is need to improve on our educational system so that the aspect of practical will be given more emphasis than theory. Because if you visit most of our institutions, actually we depend now mostly on theory than practical. Because I am a lecturer, I know what is going on. Even though they are from the curriculum, there is provision for practical aspect of the courses, but sometimes you discover that the facilities, they are not in abundance. If you compare it to other developed countries, even some countries in this country, they have gone far in terms of cattle farming. Then there is need of course to improve on the genetic improvement of our local breeds. Of course, our local breeds, they are inferior to the exotic breed. So there is need to improve on our local breeds so that they increase in their performance in terms of meat production, in terms of other parameters. But definitely there is need to do that. Then lastly, very sorry, thank you for listening. I know that there is a lot of challenges. It's not my own doing, but it's one of the Nigerian factors. We are having a problem. Nothing is going so stable in Nigeria. It's one of the, so we have to put our hands on deck to do the needful things that we have. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you to all our speakers for a job well done.
Yes.
Very rich presentations. Yes. We'll go ahead now and take some questions. Just a reminder that you can still type your questions in the chat box. Also be reminded that we have only 20 minutes for this session. And we would like a robust discussion. So I'll go ahead and ask the first question. The first question is, why did your honey crystallize? Also, how did you overcome this question?
Okay, for the crystallization, it's basically due to the vegetation around where the beehives was. So, like I said, it's because of the vegetation around where the beehive is situated. So we have more of cassava than, more of cassava plants than other fruit plants. So in a situation whereby we have more of fruit plants, like fruit vegetations than normal starchy, we're going to have less of crystallization issue. So it was as a result of, we have high glucose content in the honey than other sugar content. So that was the reason for the crystallization. So actually a way to overcome this is by pasteurizing the honey, in which the foreigners, the foreign markets, that's what they do oftentimes, they pasteurize it. But pasteurization, it reduces the how will I put it now, the effectiveness of the honey, especially if you want to use it for treatment or for some other stuffs. So what I did was, like I said, I tried to educate my buyers as much as possible using social media, using my label, and also anyone that gives the complaint, I'll tell them to go and check online and read about it. And it has yielded good results over time.
Thank you. The second question is for you also, Taiwo. A participant wants to know, are you interested in angel investors?
We can actually discuss that. There are definitely terms and conditions applied to that.
Thank you. Is Mrs. Folashade here? Okay, she's trying to join. Do we have any questions for Ambassador Adeniyi Bunmi or for Dr. Saidu? Unmute yourself and ask your question, please. Okay, while we're waiting for Mrs. Folashade and questions from participants, can we all please turn our cameras on so we can take a group picture? Sorry, there's a question for Dr. Saidu. It says, how can I get these types of breed of cow?
Actually, they are available all over, yes. Which breed in particular? Is it the white Fulani that is available all over the country? Or is it the red Bororo? They are all available in our markets. If you go to...
I mean the red Bororo.
The red Bororo? Okay.
Yes.
Why are you residing? So I can direct you where to go and...
Ibadan, in Oyo State.
In Oyo State, go to Akinyele local government. Go to the cattle market, you get red Bororo there.
Okay.
I hope you are getting me.
Okay. Okay.
Go to Akinyele local market, where the cattle market that they move from Bodija to Akinyele, you can get...
I know the place.
Okay, yes, you can get red Bororo. They are available there. Just a few months back, I was there. I saw them.
Okay.
Other questions for Dr. Said or Ambassador? Is Mrs. Folashade available now? Somebody is asking if we can get Dr. Saidu's contact.
Okay, my contact, no problem. Let him send his email to my, he will get my contact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We will share that with the participant. Thank you.
It's okay.
Someone also asked for Ambassador Adeniyi Bunmi's contacts. Is it okay to share that too, Ambassador Bunmi? Okay, there's a question for Taiwo. Is urban beekeeping possible? Is urban beekeeping possible, Taiwo?
Yes, urban beekeeping is very possible and is one of the way out to many of our challenges now. And yes, it's very, very possible.
Taiwo, there's another question for you. It says, how can one get trained on beekeeping? This person is based in Ibadan. Can you recommend anywhere or anyone? And can you online training?
Okay, for online training, well, if you have online training, that would be to start with, but to get practical trainings, which is very needed in this kind of business, I wouldn't advise you rely 100% on online training. And another reason is because most of the trainings you see online are for the foreigners, and the way they do their beekeeping is quite different from the way we do it here in Nigeria. So, and for beekeepers in Ibadan, yes, I can refer you to beekeepers in Ibadan, where you can get your training.
Taiwo, I guess you can answer some of these questions as well. There's a question that says, is beekeeping business seasonal?
Is this seasonal? Yes, there is a beekeeping calendar of where we have, you know, the harvesting season, where we have more harvesting period, the period where we get more of the harvested honey, you understand, compared to other months. So it varies. So it's seasonal, I would say, but we can actually harvest all year round. But the amount you will get per time will differ. So, but there's a particular season of the year that's between November to March, where we are the peak of harvesting.
Okay, thank you.
I hope I've answered that.
Yes, you have. There's also a question. It says, do beekeepers have an association or a body where you meet on a monthly or regularly to discuss matters?
Yes. Beekeepers, they have association. Yeah, they have association per state, and also we have Nigeria Beekeeping Association. We also have, of which I belong to, Youth for Agriculture Initiative. So that's agricultural program for youth. So it depends on the one you want to belong. But I belong to the Nigerian Beekeepers Organization, Ogun State Beekeeper, and also the Youth for Agriculture Initiative.
Okay, thank you very much. There's another question for you. It says, what's the easiest way to detect fake honey in the market or to recognize real honey? How can you detect fake honey?
Okay, so the way honey is, you can't really know of how especially once it is packaged, you can't really identify pure honey from fake honey by mere seeing. So a way I do mine is, apart from testing, lab test is a very good way of identifying fake honey. Then for me, or for someone that is very used to honey, you will know by the taste. So I can identify a fake honey from the taste. So it depends on you, but it's very good. You just know the source from which you are getting your honey from.
I have a question for Dr. Saidu. It says, how many months does it take to fatten a cow?
Okay, between 60 to 90 days. Yeah, or you have had that.
Someone here is saying 90 days. Is that correct?
No, it's okay. The issue is that, the intention is to make profit. Supposing you have started, then you have a market for it. Someone wants to buy it with a good price. You can sell it, then buy another one. The aim is to make profit. So, but more is actually 90 days. I say between 60 to 90 days. Some is 60, some 90 days. It's okay.
We have come to the end of the question and answer session.
Is there any other question?
That we had this. I want to thank everybody for being a participant, for attending this webinar. We'll be sending in all the presentations to all of you, and they will also be available on our YouTube channel. So I want to say thank you. Thank you once again, the speakers, for a job well done, and thank you for the participants. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Have a pleasant rest of the week. Thank you.
New Nigeria Foundation. New Nigeria Foundation.